Hello and welcome to the Blythe Way Mining Show. I'm Matt Brown, coming to you live from Core Finance. I'm joined today by Maurice Mason, who is the Vice President of the Corporate Development and Investor Relations at Caledonia Mining. Thank you very much for joining us on the Blythe Way Mining Show today. How are you today, Maurice?
I'm good, thanks, Matt. Thanks for having us. It's good to be here.
Well, let's start off with a brief outline of Caledonia Mining for potential investors and our viewers.
Yes, Caledonia is a gold mining business. We have a producing gold mine in Zimbabwe, which is the Blanket Gold Mine. We've owned it for about 10 years. We acquired it off Kinross in 2006. It was in pretty good shape when we bought it, and we've invested heavily in it since then. And it's been a great investment for us. We produce about 55,000 ounces a year at the moment. All-in costs, we think, are coming somewhere between sort of $810 and $850 an ounce. So good operating margins at these gold prices. We are in the process of expanding the business to get to 80,000 ounces by the year 2021. So we're on a gradual ramp-up process, and that is progressing well. We have no debt. We have just under $11 million in the bank, and we pay a dividend. So as a junior mining company, we think we're quite unusual, and we're very proud of that.
That's a very good story, as you say. Paying dividend, no debt. So that will certainly be of interest to investors. And you're listed in Toronto, New York, and in London via the depository interests.
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic. And this week, a lot of announcements, a lot of good news coming out from the company. Can you just give us an update on the announcements you've made?
Yes, so the two main things this week were we announced the regular quarterly dividend. The dividend yield is just under 5% at the moment at these share prices. So a healthy yield for a growing gold miner. But that's a relatively standard. We pay the dividend every quarter. We have been doing so since 2012. So that is nothing surprising. And then we had a production update out this week as well, where we announced record gold production at the Blanket mine. Which was pleasing. As I mentioned, we are on a growth trajectory, so the mine is growing in production and will grow from, I think we did 42,000 ounces in 2015. We did 50,000 ounces in 2016. We're targeting 55,000 ounces this year. So and growing, as I said, to 80,000 ounces by 2021. So you are going to see these record quarters as production grows, but it's still nice to announce them to the market, and it's good to see that the investment we've been making in the mine is starting to bear fruit. So that's very encouraging.
Fantastic. And you mentioned the 55,000 ounces. At the start of the year, you had actually reduced your guidance down. Can you just talk us through how you've turned this around? Yeah,
so we had a difficult start to the year. The first 6 months were quite tough. A couple of issues, mainly operational issues on the mine. Which caused us actually to reduce guidance. So we originally had guidance of 60,000 ounces for the year, which was roughly 15,000 ounces a quarter. This week's production announcement was just shy of 15,000 ounces. So we're on that run rate now. But the first 2 quarters of the year were a little disappointing, and we had to revise guidance for the market. Those issues were largely related to underground rock handling logistics, and that caused us 2 primary problems. One, we couldn't get tons, the right tonnage feed from the mine because of underground logistical issues. And then 2, we couldn't blend grade appropriately, so we couldn't mine selectively in the high and lower grade areas of the mine as we would have preferred to had we had that freedom, which then meant that the grade suffered in the mine slightly. So grade in quarter 2 was about just under 3.1 grams a ton. We're now mining closer to about 3.6 grams a ton, which is kind of closer to plan. In the longer term, we'll see that grade continue to trend upwards. So when you combine lower tons and then a lack of flexibility, which means the grade's a little lower, the first 6 months of the year were a bit more difficult. And we're very pleased to see that the remedies that our technical people have put in place, mainly in the last, about in quarter 2, they did most of the hard work, and that is starting to bear fruit now. So without getting into too much of the technical detail, we've invested a little bit of money in stabilizing electricity supply. We had 1 or 2 issues from the local electricity grid, which we've now addressed, and those are having some pleasing results. We've we've looked at better scheduling of getting our men underground. We do employ 1,300 people. They don't all work underground at one time. It's a shift system, and a lot of them work on surface. But getting people underground is a logistical exercise, and we've invested some effort in scheduling how we get people underground more effectively. And then mainly the what I call the rock factory component, the rock handling underground and managing the traffic underground has been a major issue. And we're pleased to see some improvements there. It's probably worth mentioning that all of these issues are going to be substantially addressed by the new project to get us to 80,000 ounces. We're sinking a brand new shaft, which will get us to 80,000 ounces by 2021. So whilst the first 6 months were disappointing, we're glad to have that behind us. We obviously are happy to now reward patient shareholders with a dividend and improved production. So good news.
Is it fair to say, you mentioned the 80,000 ounces by 2021, you are on track now?
We're on track to achieve that. To be clear, that project is essentially sinking a brand new shaft and building a brand new mine underneath the current mine. So all of the current logistical challenges that we have had and that I've mentioned are not going to be an issue when the new shaft is in production. These issues will be completely alleviated by the new mine. We're on track there. The shaft is currently at a depth of 870 meters below surface. So it's a big project. It's a major project in the Zimbabwean gold mining industry. It is. We're currently we've paused the sinking activities to pursue horizontal development in line with plan. But we're probably about 3/4 of the way through that project now. We started it in late 2014. It's now late 2017, and we expect to be in production there by late 2018. I would say.
Fantastic. And you mentioned, obviously, the local issues with the mine, but on a bigger scale, looking at operating in Zimbabwe as a whole, are there any issues in operating in that area?
We don't have we don't have significant operating challenges. We have everything we need to run a gold mine, and that's, I think, an important point to stress. So logistically, the mine is 2 hours drive from Bulawayo. That's you can fly there within an hour from Johannesburg and drive 2 hours. We can get critical spares on the back of a truck, get them to the mine from Johannesburg in probably 36 hours, and we've done that before. So we have grid power. We manage our own logistics in terms of critical raw materials, cyanide, explosives, drill steel, all of the critical issues, equipment you need to run a mine. So we don't have those type of challenges. We've had 1 or 2 issues with electricity, but we addressed that. There are economically, things in the country are tough. And that, I think, affects the broader economy, and we're not, as an operator in that economy, we're not immune to that. So we do pay quite close attention to managing the foreign exchange commitments. We're importing a lot of raw material, a lot of equipment to invest in this mine and grow production. And the Zimbabwean government have been incredibly helpful with that, although since they dollarized the economy, they do depend quite heavily on foreign exchange, and that is a critical issue, which takes a lot of attention, and we certainly manage it carefully. But we don't operationally, we're not constrained, and we haven't experienced any negative operational issues in Zim. I would say that as an importer of dollars and an exporter of gold, which is essentially what a gold mining industry is, we are the gold mining industry in general, and obviously Caledonia is a major player in that, is a very important earner of foreign exchange for the Zimbabwean economy. And so therefore the gold mining industry is a very high profile, or the mining industry in general, and obviously gold mining in particular, because we do most of our processing and enrichment in country, is a high profile area for the Zimbabwean government, and it gets its due attention, we believe. So that's encouraging as well.
Fantastic. That's really good to hear. And looking ahead, and you've already touched on obviously looking at forward to 2021 with the 8,000 ounces per year. Anything else that investors can look forward to over the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, we would expect the remedial measures we put in place in Q2 and have shown to be effective in Q3. We'd expect those to continue into the fourth quarter. So we expect to be at a run rate of about 15,000 ounces a quarter from now on in. So that's the production record we achieved in Q3. We'd expect that run rate roughly to continue.
Yep.
So if that carries to the year, we will see production of approximately 55,000 ounces. Now we when I mentioned we reduced guidance to between 52 and 57,000 ounces, we have, as of this week, tightened up that guidance to 54 to 56. So you can take your pick of an area in between, but I think we'll probably get somewhere in the middle of that. So I think that's what the rest of the year looks like. The gold price is helping, so as long as it stays at these levels, we are, I mentioned our costs last quarter were about $850 all in. We'd expect to do slightly better than that as we get the beneficial effects of more volume. This is a volume business.
Yes.
So we'd expect costs to do slightly better than that going forward. And and if the gold price stays where it is, that would lead to quite a nice rest of the year, which is exciting.
Super. Well, lots to look forward to. All the best to you. And Maurice Mason, thank you very much for joining us today on Blythe Way Mining Show.
Thank you for having us.